Welcome to the Zveda podcast. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Laurena.
We're a community for women by women. We're here to help each other rise to impact generations. Welcome to the Zveda podcast. Ladies, we're so excited that you're here for episode 13.
Yes, we're very excited, if you can't tell.
Rocking and rolling. And I don't know, fall is in the air today here in Austin, Texas. It's feeling good outside. And so I'm just in a light mood today.
Same. The sunshine is out and it feels cooler. I love it.
It's not 110. That's key.
Yes.
So just, grateful and blessed for that.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to kick off today with a trending topic. And what we're really trying to do is, there's a lot of heavy things going on around us in our world today. And we don't hear enough of the really positive stories that are happening in our own circles and in our communities. And so I just wanted to ask you, I'm putting a call out there for content to share, but please, ladies, share what's going on with your circles.
Yeah.
What are some people that are doing some really cool things right in your family circle, your community circles, school circles that need to be brought out? I want to bring these stories forward because our world needs some inspiration today. And it's not that we're ignoring what's going on, but we need to bring some positive to give some balance.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're here for with this podcast. And so I want to start by sharing that I had an experience this past week. I sat on a call. My son started 9th grade. He's playing football. And they had a parent meeting on Zoom, and we got to meet the coaching staff and hear the head coach speak. And I was blown away. Just really, there's really no word other than blown away by what he shared and just really encouraged.
What did he say to the students and the parents?
He really talked about their desire. You can tell he's living in his call and his dream because he talked about, what sports means to him and that they really look at sports and football as not just the sport itself, but developing young men.
Wow,
and
that's
just
powerful.
This holistic picture of that. And to me, that was an answered prayer because I've been praying for my son specifically to have influence in his life from godly men that are not afraid to stand up and to show them what that really looks like. And so, on the call, he shared that they talk about faith and they talk about fitness, and they also really hold the students accountable to what they're bringing to the team every day for themselves as much as the team. And, he talked a lot about his desire was not just to be a coach and a teacher and someone that's yelling and holding someone accountable, but he wanted to be a father.
That is huge. Wow, that's so needed in our culture.
Huge. He wanted to be that father example because he knows that not every student comes from the same type of background or the same, type of family. We're all coming from different experiences and backgrounds. And that just really meant a lot to hear that that's his desire. And not only his personally, but what he demonstrates for his coaching staff.
Wow.
So everyone on his staff has this vision of we're approaching this as fathers, as guides, as mentors. And we're going to talk about faith and fitness, and we're going to hold people accountable and students accountable to their grades. And what that looks like is we're going to be checking in on them every week. How are they doing? What's going on in their lives? Where are they struggling? Working through the struggles, assigning tutors when they see the grades slipping, coming alongside these boys to really help steward and shepherd them into life, to learn now to how to take responsibility for every action that they take, how to interact with adults. That was another one. I was just like, oh my gosh.
This dude's gold.
These students are learning how to interact when, you don't agree with the teacher. And what do you do? And what does that exchange look like? And, he ended with a poem that I'm sure is out there, but it talks about, be careful what you say, because that's my son on the field after all. Just a reminder to us parents or mentors or people that are in any of you that are in the lives of other teenagers, of be careful what you say. Encourage them. Tell them to go out there, have fun, give it your all, and give them some space.
Yeah.
Give them space. He said, one of the things he can't stand is when he hears an adult from the stands tearing down one of the players for something that they felt they didn't do right. And it's always easy to do that as we're an outsider looking in. But instead, to flip that script and just let them have fun, let them have the experience. He said, experience the game. Let them just experience the game, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent.
Yeah.
And I think that really it just translates into so many areas, and can translate into so many areas of our lives, to just experience the game. So I just wanted to bring that forward today, and just sharing that there are great people doing some amazing things. And I just encourage you to share that. It doesn't necessarily even have to be with us, but take a moment this week and share it on your own social media. Highlight somebody that really spoke to you in a positive way. And let's bring some of those stories forward, because our world really needs to see that side of society.
Absolutely. I love that, Jamie. And I love how it's on a personal note. It's what's trending can be something that is happening in your own life, your own sphere of influence. Yeah. It can be the local level, state level, national level. It can be at all those levels. So I love that we shared something that's more interpersonal today, and share those stories, because they need to be told.
Yeah.
So now as we shift gears into the main section of episode 13 today, just to refresh our memory. So we want to go back into all of our core values and dig a little deeper, do like a little mini series on all 4 values. And the first core value that we're digging into today is that we aspire to awakening. And so this phrase that really stuck out to me and Jamie was, remember the child and bring her to life, bring her back to life. And our last episode, we, if you haven't seen it already, please go back and watch it in junction with this one, because we remembered the child. We took some time to ask some questions. Jamie and I did a little bit of a like interview style of that episode to really dig into what are some things that brought you joy and that brought you life from your childhood that then could inform what you're doing now in this current season, which is the focus of this episode today, is to bring her to life, to let those things from your childhood surface through maybe different opportunities in your life today, but some of those same themes can come to the surface. So that's what we want to cover during our main point here. And so for this activity, you'll need a couple different materials. And again, you can do this with a friend. You can do this on your own, or, both. You can do it once on your own and then do it once with a friend and swap. But you'll need some blank pieces of paper, or even a poster board, which is really fun. If you want to have more space, you want to write big and have different pictures, or, use markers, that kind of fun dynamic there. Pens, pencils, markers. And then if you have one, it also would be helpful to bring planner or a calendar. So whether it's the calendar you use on your phone, an app, or if it's a, physical planner, bring that too. So what we want to do is on a blank sheet of paper, and I actually have some paper here, would love for you to write. Let's see, I'm going to just do this right here. Got a little table here.
And if you're driving, just be sure to take mental note of some of these things, and it'll be a great activity for when you're settled back at home. And last week we had a question from the group about how do I embrace this single life, right? And there's something to do. This is something great that you can do in that extra time that you have on a Friday night or a Saturday night, just digging into this to really discover who you are.
Yeah, that's great, Jamie. I love that. So on your sheet of paper, you can do it horizontally or vertically, but to write the word dream wall on your sheet of paper. And I highly encourage that it's blank paper and not lines, just so there's like a lot of free space going on. But basically what I'm thinking for this is that, you can, and it's fun if you want to do, piece of poster board and put it on the wall, and have that space to where it's actually like a wall. And you can write all over it and not like have to repaint your wall. That's a fun way to do it too. But basically picture this wall, this space, blank slate. Everything is possible on your dream wall. Just going to say that. So there's no limitations of anything from your past or any like financial limitations. There's no limitations whatsoever. Everything is possible. And what I want to do is this time I'm going to interview Jamie and walk through a series of questions that focus on pulling some of those things that you reflected on from your childhood. Remember those as you're answering these questions. Okay, so Jamie.
Do I need to show mine yet or no?
Maybe let's show that after we go through the questions,
Okay,
and then we'll
good.
show that as an example.
Cool.
All right, so Jamie, first question is let's see for this one. So a picture just a random Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever the day of the week, 3 years from now. What do you imagine that day looking like? What are you doing? Who's with you? What are you not doing? What do you imagine that day looking like?
Oh, Laurena. So hard. Well, I really would picture myself doing a lot more of this.
Okay.
This right here.
Yep.
Developing in a place where we're producing just more content, showcasing guests, even planning our speaking tour. And not just planning, but we're in the midst of a speaking tour. If we're talking about 3 years from now, in the middle of it, maybe we've taken some strides to write a book that's been a dream of mine for a long time, to share wisdom that I have and put it down on paper for other women, and be spreading the word of the Lord in a positive way through the marketplace.
Yeah, I love that. Is there anyone with you 3 years from now?
Well, I hope you're here with me.
Yes.
And AJ, our producer. Going on the road. Come on. I just picture my son, alongside me, just encouraging me.
Yeah.
Family and friends, being guests. It's funny because one of my really good friends lives in Chicago. I picture her being a part of that. Another really good friend, Stacy is her name, leading worship. Just people that are close to me.
Yeah.
Just right alongside, encouraging, whether they're speaking into my life on topics or an interview guest or worship, or actually serving and working to bring that to fruition.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. What is something that you want to contribute to the world during your lifetime? And there can be multiple things, but what comes to mind?
Well, I think sticking with this dream with Zveda, she rises to impact generations, is to do just that.
Yeah.
I've experienced some great things in life, and I've experienced some tough things, from divorce to changes in career that were not of my choosing, betrayal. The list can add up, and I just want to be able to bring a new perspective to those situations, a godly perspective. And I want to encourage women early on, how to overcome, how to see things coming, how to deal with the difficult things when they do arise, because they will. I want to impact a new generation of women. I truly do. That goes right along with our mission that we've set forward here. And I just want to be able to look back someday when I'm old and gray, and I have this vision of just sitting back and seeing this unfolding. Like it's something that I've birthed. It's something I've worked hard to produce. And then I'm just sitting back and watching other young women that have taken the reins and are carrying it forward.
Yeah.
And that legacy is being left and being continuing to build on our planet. That's really what I see wanting to do.
That's powerful, Jamie. And I love how it's a legacy. It's beyond your own doing in your own lifetime.
Yeah.
Wow. So kind of along those lines, is there a specific experience that you want to recreate for someone? So maybe thinking back to your childhood, if you had a memorable experience that impacted you in a positive way, is that very same thing something you want to recreate? Or is there just something on your heart that you want to create for someone else?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I often have talked about it a million times on the podcast, but just as a young child, being that performer in my father's, barn on his workbench, that was my stage. But it was more than me performing. It was a dream of speaking.
Yeah.
Speaking, telling, bringing life into the world around me. And so what I really, and then later in high school, I remember one of my teachers telling me, you're meant to do this and you will do it. You'll be on camera someday and you'll be speaking and you'll be encouraging people because that's just part of who you are. And I didn't know it at the time. I was, young and crazy. But she was basically giving me a prophetic word.
Wow.
Of what my life would be. And I want to create those experiences for other young women. And I want women to experience that earlier than I did. And so if I feel like if I can share what I've been through and share steps on how, like, just the things that we're walking through, outlining a dream wall, uncovering who the kid is, like those are all ways that we can help women experience and discover these things much earlier in life.
Yeah.
But also to offer encouragement to those that may be older that maybe didn't have the opportunities or didn't have the wisdom until now to know that it's not too late.
Right.
I want to be able to create that experience for you too, to understand that this world needs all generations stepping up and stepping into what they're truly called to do and called to be. And so that's something that I want to help steward.
That's powerful. I think just to, at least what I'm hearing, just to recap that is like, it's the experience of giving young women the invitation to come on a journey of becoming.
Yes.
I think that's so powerful and it's so needed. I mean, I'm just even like, yeah, I want to be a part of that too. So another question I have is this one is a little bit lengthy, so I'll go slow on it. Okay. Is, where is there an area of crossover between a need in society or maybe a problem that exists in our world today and something you're both skilled at and something that brings you joy? So you're passionate about it, you're good at it, and it also can help solve a problem in society. What do you think that would be?
Well, there's probably a few. Yeah. But as you were asking me, and we've talked about this before, is women tear each other down. Yeah. And that doesn't have to be the case. And one of the things that I feel like the Lord just keeps putting on my heart is there's enough room at the top for everyone. And I want to truly bridge that. Like, ladies, there's so much to be done. There's so much to be done on this planet. We need teachers. We need mentors. We need producers. We need writers, we need singers, we need worshipers, we need engineers, we need doctors. Like, we need all of those things, and we need those individuals to be spirit-filled so they can offer the encouragement and the guidance and the perspective that the Holy Spirit, the Lord above, is wanting to put into our world, because we get enough of the other junk. Yeah. And so, I really do see this gap between just a wisdom in that. And even in the Christian space, even in believers, just recognizing that we say we're a Christian. We say we believe in the Lord, but we doubt so much. We doubt healing. We doubt movements. We doubt provision. We doubt abundance. And I want to somehow create awareness of it and maybe spur on a movement and an encouragement in that.
Yeah, I hear, maybe to say it in another way, is like you want to be intentional about creating the conversation.
Yes.
For others to partake in, and to also be intentional about framing that conversation. I love what you said, like how you said that there's enough room for everybody at the top. I also heard the phrase, as you're saying that, is there's enough room for everyone to have a seat at the table.
Yes.
No matter who you are, what your background is, what your gifts are, everyone has a seat at the table. And I think that is something that you are very skilled to do. And that paradigm is needed in our culture today.
Yeah. And I think just the desire that to make sure everybody knows that we all have a different story.
That's right.
And that story matters. However that started, or wherever someone is on their journey of that story is going to help shape someone else. It's going to help someone skip over a challenge or a struggle.
Yeah.
And I do believe I'm skilled in being able to pick out key pieces of someone's story. Like we were talking about in the prior episode, you were telling me about the things that you enjoyed doing as a child and your dreams and the things that you would buy and spend your money on, and just being able to look at that and say, oh yeah, this is exactly what you could be doing. And hearing someone's story and maybe helping them shape it into their new journey, their new path, even a career path.
Yeah, that's powerful. I think that's definitely another skill and passion of yours that you can bring to a need in society to help, us as young women to propel forward in the things that God really has called us to do. Wow, that's great. Let's see, a couple other questions here. Let's see, this one is who do you want to be a part of your life? And I just wrote, in parentheses here, like if you haven't met this person yet, you can imagine the role that they would play in your life. But yeah, who do you want to be a part of your life?
Who do I want to be a part of my life?
Might be kind of phrased maybe a little weird, but like I don't know. I think of say for example, if you want to start a business and you're taking steps to do that, if you need a business partner, that could be an example. Or I know the last episode we talked about single life, and if you're desiring to be in a dating relationship and desiring a spouse, that could be another, kind of way to talk about this question.
Got you.
Yeah.
I definitely know that the people that I've surrounded myself with, I want still in my life, right? You, for one, my son, of course, my friends that have stood by me through thick and thin, just people that have given me opportunities, my boss, she's fantastic and inspirational. Definitely want her continuing to speak into my life and mentor me as well. I often think about a partner, a spouse. I don't know. The question right now is, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. But I also know that, I'm going to trust the Lord in that.
Yeah.
It may be a desire sometimes. Sometimes I really recognize the value of having singleness and what I'm able to create and do and bring forward without that, because that takes time to navigate and build. And right now in this particular season of my life, and I would say for the next 4 years even, my son is a big focus for me.
Yeah.
He's in his last 4 years of high school, and I want to be there for his moments and be present. I want to continue to build this with you as my partner and then do a good job at work. And that's a lot of responsibility. And so right now that's who I see.
I love that. Yeah. And that's great to see it, and you could even answer this question or these questions in multiple ways. You could do it 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So that's also another added tidbit. I know we've talked about this a little bit, just in conversations, you and me, kind of off camera, but what hobbies do you like to spend time doing?
Hobbies.
Yeah. So outside of, Zveda, outside of work, what are things that you enjoy doing?
Well, I enjoy singing a lot. I've enjoyed recently learning to play the piano. It's just such a creative release, and it's something I've never thought I could do, and I've done. In fact, today was one of the first days that I actually played.
Oh, awesome, Jamie.
So I was just really encouraged by that. And I mentioned Stacy earlier. She's my teacher, and I just love her to death, and she's helping me just embrace that.
Yeah.
That's a hobby. I love to be outside. So I love to ride bikes. I like to run. I like to walk. I really enjoy working out. It's something I need to do more of. No, no, I love to work out. It just gives me that extra boost of energy and makes me feel strong and what my body is capable of. And I love to spend time with my son and my family. His activities are really important. So my hobby is really watching him grow and play baseball and football and help my parents at the farm. Just things that get me out to enjoy God's creation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. The last question I'll ask you here is, what do you want future generations to know? You talked about this a little bit with like that dialogue of, like women competing against one another, that being a conversation that you want to reframe. But are there any truths or values that you personally hold that you want to deposit into future generations?
It's a really good question. It's a really big question.
It is a big question. Maybe one that comes to mind.
I think one that I would say is being secure in who you are and who you are.
Yeah.
Not in what the world says you need to be or what someone expects of you or you think they expect of you, but to be secure in the way that you were knit together by the Creator.
Yeah.
And your unique attributes, your personality, the things that make you mad and make you happy, and the things that bring you to a righteous anger, and the things that spur you on to create, your shyness, your being boisterous, your loud laugh, like all of those things. I just feel like we don't hear enough from mentors that are speaking into our culture.
Yeah.
That you, as you are right now in this very moment, is perfect. And to rest in that and be secure in that. And when we can find contentment in who we are, gosh, so many good things come out of that. So believe me, it's taken me a bit to get there. And I just want to encourage women in that. And part of that too is not rushing into relationship.
Yeah, that's huge.
So being secure in who you are allows you to really see, like, what am I capable of? Not what am I capable of with someone else. What am I capable of? What have I been gifted with? What can I create and do and bring forward? And then this partner comes alongside and you could really like just go all for it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
I love that. And I think too, I love also how a lot of times on that concept of identity that you spin into that and you weave into is, who does the Lord also say that you are? Because I think we can only have a true and secure identity, in ourselves when we receive who the Father says that we are. So I love how you weave that together. That's powerful.
And that comes from, I just want to cover real quick before we move on, but that comes from not a perfection mindset, but I'm a flawed human being and I've messed up and I've made bad decisions, but I'm still great. Like I'm still secure in who I am because the Lord has shown me, yep, you did that. Oops, don't do it again. Learn from it, teach, provide wisdom out of it, but I'm going to use it and we're going to be secure in who we are and knowing that we're flawed. We're going to make mistakes.
Right. And that doesn't define you.
Yep.
And, those moments, after you move on from them, they can stay in the past. Yes, you can learn and take wisdom from them, but you don't have to relive them every day.
That's exactly right.
That's great, Jamie. So I know, we want to shift into, moving into our health and hospitality piece, because we got just a couple minutes left on this episode. But what I'd love, if you don't mind, do you want to share your dream poster with us, just to kind of give us an example of one that you've done?
You'll see my elementary creativity. But yeah, I mean, this is just an example, of one, they're often called vision boards or dream boards. Dream wall. But for me, I created this in November of 2019. So really just started to think about what did I want to really focus on in 2020. And I personally focused on 4 key categories. One was finance, because that's been a big part of what I'm trying to focus on. Travel and experiences. It was mainly like experiences. What are the experiences that I'm going to create for myself and my son?
Yeah, that's cool.
So I had some dreams outlined there. Some of them had to be, we'll have to move into a future year because of the pandemic. But hey, we've created some cool experiences this year.
Yeah.
Zveda, that was, at the top here, just like, what is that looking like? And what are we going to be building in 2020? And it's funny because one of the stickers I chose was "Real Queens Fix Each Other's Crowns." And that just goes right along with what I said. One of my intentions to bring into the earth is, and then faith. Faith is definitely not last, but just looking at how I'm receiving blessing, opening myself to receive blessings, focusing on my faith, and what I can bring forward to others through wisdom that I've learned. So
yeah, that's powerful, Jamie. I thank you for sharing your dream board, vision board, dream wall with us. There's some couple other pieces that I wanted to cover during our episode today, but I think they're so meaty that maybe we do a separate episode on them, because I think it can be like a part 3 to this conversation. So we've
opened up some really good topics that I think would really help our community dig into.
Yeah. So hopefully seeing that role play, with doing a dream wall is inspirational, and we'd love to, see some pictures and hear some stories of what emerges as y'all try this activation, and we want to hear how it goes. So quick, health and hospitality tip. Again, this is another one on the hospitality side. I'm still thinking of like having people over, just connecting, whether it's, small groups or just one person over, it's really nice. But, some tips whenever you have guests stay the night. It's really great to have some kind of a guest basket for anything that they might need. So you could leave this either in the bathroom or the bedroom where you're having them stay, either on an air mattress or in a bed. But that little guest basket can contain toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, bar of soap, body wash, gum, tissues, makeup remover, and maybe even a candle.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because you never know, like some people, might forget something by accident. I know I have different times where I'm like visiting Houston or friends in Dallas. And it's like, I know for me, like, I'm like, I don't really want to ask for a toothbrush. So I'm just going to kind of like do like toothpaste like this,
the worst.
But having that is just like an extra step of like, I want you to feel comfortable.
That's so great.
So guest basket is a cool idea.
Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have some guests coming in the beginning of November. So I'm going to
create that
idea.
All right, cool, Jamie. So I know we've got a question from the community. So this one that came in, Jamie, I'll let you answer it. But the question is, how can I stop getting nervous before getting on a video call or nervous in front of like giving a presentation?
Ooh.
Or some ways to kind of calm that anxiety down.
Calm down. Oh gosh. Well, you may have some really great tips here for this too, but I think one, again, just recognizing like, okay, I'm nervous.
Own it. Just own it.
Just own it. Don't try to hide it. Like, I am nervous, so I'm going to now do things to get me unnervous. But a little bit of nervous energy is always good, especially in a presentation, because typically that will show that you're interested and engaged and excited. But I think one of the best tips that I learned from a vocal coach like years ago when I was singing and country music opries.
Which, by the way, we still have to see some of those photos.
Oh gosh, scary.
Big hair.
Just say
and makeup.
Reba hair.
Yes.
But what she would just say, what happens a lot of times we don't take deep enough breaths.
Okay.
So we're
and it stays shallow breathing.
And it stays
up here.
shallow. And the more you do that, the more nervous you get. So to just stop and close your eyes and breathe in 10 counts, breathe out 10 counts.
That's good.
And do that at least 3 to 5 times. And it just has a calming effect on your thinking, your body. So that's one way that really helped me, to the point where, like, even when I would go step out on stage to sing or speak, that my voice would crack and I couldn't get sound out.
Yeah.
So just taking that moment to just recenter myself, realize like I'm here, my feet are on the ground.
Yeah.
Breathing deep. That's one of the best things that I was taught.
I love that. That's a great thing. I think one of the things that I try to remember, like, going into, for an in-person or even now a video interview for a full-time job, something that I would remember is, okay, I've done my work to prepare, right?
Yep.
Like, for any time that you're going to be speaking or in front of people, if you've done your preparation, like, feel good about that. You have something valuable to give people. And then I also think, remember that the people that you're speaking to are human just like you. Like, we all have challenges. We all have families. I mean, just remember the humanness.
Yep. That's
so
good.
that there's already that, like, relatability that you've already created in your mind, which hopefully should reduce some of that nervous feeling.
That's so good. And to remember that people on the other end don't know what you're about to talk about.
They don't. No.
So if you miss a point in your presentation, who cares?
Yeah.
Or your speech, like, who cares? They don't know anyway. And I guarantee you have something that you're sharing that they need to hear and they don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So hopefully that helps answer this question. And we'd love to, hear how that has helped you grow in different times where you're speaking in front of people. So thanks so much for sending that question in. And ladies, continue to just engage with us online through the online community, sending questions that you have. We also want to, plan out to have some more interviews, people coming in, talking with me, talking with Jamie. So we'll get those rolling out too. So we just hope that you have a great week and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Zveda podcast. Keep your questions coming so we can rise together. Visit Zveda.com to talk to us and join our community. That's Zveda.com. We'll see you next week.